Okay, 1, 2, 3. We're here with Tommy Swanhaus, myself, Michael, hosting the 1, 2, 3 podcast. Ian should jump in just a minute. He's living the Billionaires Club life, like we touched on, Tommy, real quick. He's on the 4th floor of some boat somewhere. I don't know where he is, but he'll run in and jump in with us in a minute. But Tommy, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. I'm so happy we got you on. And I know we just spoke for a moment. You followed the channel, the Billionaires Club. I want to know everything. So I want to start with, how did you find us initially? Because it's great that we connected.
So I've been following you guys for years. I love the kind of inspirational, aspirational brands, kind of high end. It kind of fits what I enjoy. Yes. So I've been a big fan of you guys for a while.
Amazing,
so,
amazing.
It's an honor to be on the show now.
Yes.
Full circle, I believe.
100%. No, we're happy to have you. So tell me, what is the story, Tommy? I looked into your Instagram. I know we connected there. Happy you follow us. We follow you. It's a pleasure to stay in tune with you. But let me know, what is your story? What's the Tommy Swanhaus story? What do you do? Yeah, I'd love to learn more.
So kind of my whole thing is I'm an inspirational, aspirational brand. I look to encourage people in positivity. I am my background is I've been an entrepreneur since I was a little kid. I started my first company when I was 14 years old, called Weed Wizards. And our slogan was kids working together for a weed-free future. And we donated a portion of the profits to the local drug or anti-drug organization in our town. And that kind of just got me going. And so when I was 25, I sold my first TV show to TLC, sold 12 episodes.
Wow.
And then started a company with brothers. And we did what was declared the first success on the mobile platform. So mobile phone back then was not, you weren't able to watch everything as fast as you can and stream and all that. So we had to shoot the show differently. And it was for the brand Playboy. And they came to us and they said, we need something that is female, male oriented, 25 years old, that is non-nudity. So we created a full original series. It went on to be nominated for a Webby, won a bunch of awards. Jay Leno talked about it.
That's amazing. And now, what was your part in this? You you executive produced it, or you created it?
So it did everything. So executive produced, created it with my brothers, from concept to execution to all that.
That's amazing. That's so cool. So Tommy, where were you born? Where are you from? I know you're in
From Connecticut.
Connecticut initially.
Yep. I feel like I've been fortunate. I've been able to live kind of all over. Lived in New York for a while, lived in Miami, South Beach for a bit, lived in Australia, North Carolina, and now I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas, and absolutely love it. Love the people, love the culture, and love the lifestyle. So I've been very fortunate.
Very cool.
I was just in New York.
I was going to say, so you've been about everywhere. You're not really in New York much. When you're here, let me know. We'd love to get together. So tell me the story. So Tommy, you're in Connecticut. You moved around a bit. Your first endeavor in the entrepreneur world, let's say, you knew you were an entrepreneur. You wanted to engage in doing business. You started this, what was it, Weed Wizards?
Yeah, so that was kind of the first when I was 14 years old.
Okay, 14 years old. So you knew at this time, can I ask you, what was the inspiration? Is your dad an entrepreneur? Like, what gave you this type of energy at 14?
My father used to do marketing for Pepsi. In Blue. So, back then, their budget was, $300 to $500 million.
Yeah. And, Tommy, I don't want to cut you. Is it possible to raise the volume on your computer? I hear you, but just in case when we okay, better. That's better.
Is that better?
So go ahead. So your dad does marketing for Pepsi. They're around the $300-500 million type of company, net worth at this time, right?
Yep. And so I grew up in this marketing household where we sat around and had dinner, candlelight dinner, and we, I was the youngest in my family, so I just listened and learned. I have 2 brothers that are very creative, and TV and film and branding and all that. And so, but as a little kid, I was always in their movies. Back then, I was cheap labor, I like to say. Now
Yep. Okay.
So, but you know, I grew up in a very kind of positive household, with kind of the belief that anything you set your mind to, you can achieve.
Okay. I feel it.
Yeah.
What did your family do in marketing? Because my family's very big in marketing too. We own a very like large, let's say relatively privately owned agency, you know, and that's what got me into the Billionaires Club, the magazine. Same thing. I use the same sentence at every dinner. I'd hear about a billboard and a television commercial segment, and you know, what do your parents do in marketing? I'm just curious.
So, my father actually passed away.
My condolences.
Yeah, no, it was years ago, when I was 25. And so, but he was, back in the day, he helped bring Stolichnaya vodka to the United States.
Okay.
Through Pepsi. So, but he changed the can blue. He did all the Cindy Crawford ads. And so,
wow.
That. And so,
so 14-year-old Tommy is growing up in this environment. You're hearing all of these types of things, marketing. You have that positive energy floating around. You feel like you could do anything. So what did you grab a few buddies? You started plotting up a business, Weed Wizards. And this is to what? Pitch to have people not want to smoke. So you're looking to like.
So Weed Wizards, we were so there's landscaping, right? But back then, the landscapers did not pull the weeds.
Okay, that's what it was. I was going to ask you, is it marijuana related or is it the weeds related? Because you're 14. All right, so it's the weeds. Okay, I thought you had referenced that like drugs or some sort like before. Okay, okay, got you. So weeding. Okay.
Play on words, we donated a portion of our profits to the anti-drug organization.
Okay, that's what I thought you attached it to before, but I got it. Just as an ironic, whatever. I got you. Okay, so that's interesting. So the landscapers, you're seeing them outside. You're seeing them not pull the weeds, and you're like, wait, let's do this. Okay, so that's your first endeavor, and then from there, what happened after this? So now you moved to 25 years go by. How did you get involved in pitching TV shows to TLC? Like, what's the process from there to there?
So I started when I graduated college, and prior to that, I've always been in kind of the media business. When I was a kid, I used to intern for Miramax back before they were bought by Disney, and I still remember one of my first days of my internship. I'm, going to be a senior in high school.
Tommy, if you don't mind, if you could sit closer to the mic, because I'm trying to hear you myself. And if it's like this, I just hope when we publish, I'm sure it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that?
That's much better.
Okay.
Yeah. So Miramax, so you in this experience. I'd love to learn about this. This is very interesting.
My first day in the office. This is, as I said, back before they bought by Disney. Okay. All of a sudden, I hear this crash against the wall, and it's Harvey Weinstein throwing a cigarette tray across the room, and I was just like, my mouth just opened. I was like in shock.
Yeah.
It was quiet for a bit, and then went back to work. And that was kind of my eye-opening experience of kind of the competitiveness and the what's online in terms of media.
Okay. How are you in a room with Harvey Weinstein though? Like, how did you get to that?
So I was working. I was an intern in their development office, and so back when they first started, they had a couple small offices, and I was in one of the main offices, so I was fortunate.
Okay, very cool. Okay, so you're learning all of this, you're absorbing that. That's interesting. You have an internship in this area, whatever, etc. So you're in this environment and you're learning how it goes in terms of pitching, shows to outlets and how they buy a show. You're seeing how these transactions occur.
Yeah, so that was kind of the beginning of all that. That was kind of my, eye-opening experience of, there are all these great films, all this great content out there that's not being, no one sees it, right? You're lucky if, a film sees the darkness of a theater, So there were like 30,000 films that are created a year, and only a handful back then were seen outside of the festivals.
Mainstream, etc.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that was one thing that has driven my career. But so I got into TV when I first graduated college, developing TV shows, and I found this great family in Texas called the Bussies, and they ran a wrestling league, and they did everything from clean the bathrooms to write the storylines to wrestle, and they were just an unbelievable family. And so created with my brothers a teaser or pilot, short pilot of what the show entailed, and TLC bought 12 episodes on the spot of it, which was pretty unbelievable at the time.
That's awesome.
So that was kind of my first real forte into, entrepreneurship and creating content and seeing it, mass distributed.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So after that, I went on to start a business with my brothers, and we did a lot of branding, mobile content. As I said, we worked for the brand Playboy, but not nudity.
Yeah.
They came to us and said we need something for 25 to 18-year-old female, male that we can show our stockholders. So we created the full series called Playboy Interns. Jay Leno talked about it, is nominated for an Emmy, or nominated for a Webby, which is like the Oscars for the web.
Okay.
But after that, going back to my original start in media, I decided I was going to go start my own streaming platform. So this was years before Netflix and Hulu and all that. And so this is, I launched that in 2009. And so it was a place where we could distribute and you could see high quality content being filmed, behind the scenes, making of, and I grew that in less than 2 years into 110 countries, which was pretty cool.
Very cool.
So,
what type of traffic, just to get an idea, like when you have 110 countries, how much traffic was your site getting?
It was a lot. So
it was a lot.
Yeah. So the big thing was engagement. The people watch the content.
The time. How much time are they spending on the site, right? How engaged are they, and how many of them are there, etc. Yeah.
So we had a 3-pronged business model where we had you could watch the content for free, but it entailed advertising. So I had deals with a lot of the major advertising agencies in terms of digital. So you'd see before you'd watch a director interview, you would see an ad by, let's say, Jaguar.
Yeah.
So
okay. Very cool, man. That's a great time. You saw the streaming. You saw it. Like I know Mark Cuban too. It just like gave me a deja vu. He did something very like he did some sort of streaming. I think the sports, right? He was streaming sports like around 2009 too, and did really well with that too. I feel like that was the time, right? A lot of people that thought about this streaming and let's host a site, stream on our own platform. That was a big thing right there that you saw that at that time too. It was hard to see it then, kind of where it was all going. That's amazing.
Yeah. And, you bring a platform, and back then it was like, I remember describing what, we had this, I'm like, it's a film streaming platform, and people are like, platform, like, that's like what I stand on to get on the train in the morning,
Yeah. Is this a network? Yeah. Is this like a television network? Yeah. Like they didn't really get it. Yeah. 2009, it was early a bit.
Yeah. So, so I grew that company, and we also, going along the lines of the streaming, we launched what is now very normal. We did a film exhibition online. So we had live Q&As with the directors, premieres online, and so which is very similar to what now Sundance and all.
What's the name of the site?
And so it's so I tried to it was called the Freestyle Life.
Freestyle Life.
Yeah, and so launched after our first year of our film exhibition. It was ranked in the top 10 for internet traffic. So it was among Toronto, Sundance, all the major festivals.
Wow. That's
and
amazing.
So the second year we did it, at this point, we're in 110 countries. Sounds awesome, right? Our film exhibition did great, but it all costs a lot of money. And so at this point, I was like, I need capital. I either need
Yeah.
to sell or I need, huge cash infusion.
Well,
And
briefly, what costs a lot of money? Like hosting and server?
all that. So,
But aren't you making money on ad revenue? Because you
yep,
have all this attention, you play an ad in between assets or
yep,
visuals, right?
yep.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm
No,
listening.
but as in everything, if you don't have marketing behind it, you can have great content, but people need to know about it. So
Yep.
marketing is a key aspect. But from
Okay.
servers to, there's to staff to everything.
Yeah.
And
Got
so
it.
there's a lot that goes into it. And so I was talking to one of the major satellite companies at the time, and they were interested in acquiring it. Long story short, those deals take for a very long time. And I was at a point where I was about to have my first son, and I knew I couldn't keep living this lifestyle. I was pulling all-nighters, and I loved it. Working and coming up with ideas.
And I loved it. Yeah.
But it's not great for having a family, and I wanted to be more available and involved in my son's life. And so I decided I had to make a full change. It's one of the hardest decisions that I did in my life. But picked up and moved to Arkansas, Little Rock, and have loved it since. It's been a great
So
thing.
did you sell the company?
So I never sold it. I had to shut it down. They were interested and just kind of dragged on. And, at one point I decided to say, I got to move on.
Forget it.
Yeah, as I said, it's one of the hardest decisions I made, but very, great learning experience. And I've used a lot of those things into what I do now. And so,
okay. And can you elaborate on what it is you do now? So you just said, forget it. You're just going to stop it. It's taking too much of your time, the all-nighters, the funds. It's not really making sense. I get the idea. In 2009, it was a crazy good idea. I'm sure it was very lucrative, right? And then, as things, the world catches up to streaming, everywhere you can get content now. It's still an amazing idea, but you need to have there's so many variables that need to be foundational, right? And a lot of things cost money. I hear you. The staff, you need a budget to market. There's a lot of different things that, the money needs to get taken, or used up with. But so now you got that down. I love that. You shut this down. And then you are now moved to Arkansas, Little Rock. You have a son, right? You have more than one kid?
I have one son who's 9 years old.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. I got a baby girl on the way, August 23rd. Yeah. I'm a girl dad. I'll have a son next, hopefully, but I'm very happy.
Yeah. But, happy to have a healthy baby.
It's it. And I have the same vibes as you did have. I want to spend so much time. I think we all do, with our kid. How do I arrange myself, right? My day, my business, etc. To enable that. But so you moved to Arkansas, and then what did you say? I want to move here and just start over. What brought you to Arkansas? I feel like
went to Duke, North Carolina, and so I was kind of exposed to the Southern lifestyle. People are super nice. I actually enjoy the climate. Gray winters, and the cost of living is great. And now my ex-wife is originally from here, so that was one of the main reasons.
Okay. So what'd you do there? Because I know you're doing great things now. I saw your whole gram. I love everything you're doing. So from there on, what's the story now? What happened?
I worked for an agency here for a bit, and then my entrepreneurial bug got a hold of me, and I launched my own company again, Tommy Swanhaus & Co. And the whole goal of it was to amplify great content, right? People spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars on creating great content.
Yep.
But if no one sees it, what's the point? And so my whole goal was to amplify this great content so people know about it, and you're getting money's worth. And so I've been fortunate. I've always kind of been, I see myself as a visionary and kind of leader of industries. And so I've turned the whole concept of a platform. I've turned myself into a platform now. So I went from being behind the camera or, doing the work to all that to now being also the face of it. As you can see with my Instagram and my social media.
I love it. Yeah.
So I've been very involved with influencer marketing. I'm actually one of the featured speakers at Northwestern Kellogg's School of Management. They teach a marketing class, and
very cool.
I believe I'm still the last speaker.
You got to clean up.
Yeah,
you got to go in strong.
Yeah. So, as one thing kind of leads to another, and things evolve.
So let me ask you, at Tommy Swanhaus, the media company, what are you offering? I understand you get assets or contents in front of people, getting those eyes, getting the content, the attention. What's like the breakdown briefly on what you do?
So, my main thing is creativity. And so I'm ranked as one of the top 30 Instagram marketing content creators. So that puts me in the same league as U.S. Marines, India's Naval, Navy, I guess, along with, the Wolf of Wall Street, to all those people. So,
okay.
But going back to kind of the beginning of this, I also wrote a book that helped kind of launch and take my career to the next level. In 2019, I was told that I had I had skin cancer prior, and I was told that my cancer had come back and it metastasized. I had no idea what metastasized meant.
Yeah.
And it basically means it's spread to the lymph nodes and like stage 4. And so for 10 days, I lied in bed and I was like, oh my God, my life's ending. Like, what do I want to leave behind for my son so he can know about me, my legacy, what I've done? I was like, the easiest thing's a book, and how life kind of works. I was offered a book deal, and I ended up writing a book. I finished that book in 2020. So during COVID, I launched it, and it went on to be a huge viral success.
Wow.
Downloaded over, I stopped counting, but over 7.5 million times.
Get out of here.
That's
amazing.
It's gotten 15 bestseller awards from Audible. It covers everything from my life, my memoir, to things I've learned over my career, from running a business to raising capital to how to take your career to the next level, how to grow your company. Everything from, getting the most out of your employees in kind of like a positive way. And just, it's just to help people kind of grow their career. So it's an inspirational, aspirational book.
And what's the name of the book?
So it is called Amplify Your Marketing, Career, and Company.
I love it. That's amazing, man. Amazing numbers there. I want to check that out.
Check it out, or check out the Audible or whatever.
100%. It's interesting how moments like that, they can create like an energy. You know, I had a similar situation. I don't like to reference it or bring life to it really, but that's how you grow from it. In 2010, I had like a pain on my lower right, and I thought I had like an appendix or an issue. I needed to get that appendectomy. I can't really pronounce it, that surgery to get my appendix taken out. And when they took out my appendix, which I thought was the primary issue, inside they found like a carcinoid tumor, which was cancerous, and it was very, very minimal. And they found that I had testings, et cetera, but there was this 10 to 14 or so, maybe even a bit longer, 14 to 21 day period that I was like waiting for results to see if it was anywhere else, et cetera. So I went through a very similar moment that you went through. And not many people I think I'm mentioning this now because I don't know who else I, had this relation with, or, common, so, a lot of people go through it, but not many people talk about it. And I had that type of situation, and I went pretty crazy mentally, laying there like, what do I want to do? And when I found out that it didn't spread anywhere, and I was already like, gearing up this type of like momentum internally, like I'm ready to go all in. I went all in and I built my own companies. I stayed up till like 4 a.m. after I found out I was okay. I was like, all right, I got a shot at life, because you think life's over when you're in that moment. You like, wait, it's like, they're about to tell me I'm going to go through this and that for the next 8 months and maybe that. And, and thank God I had no issue after. It didn't spread. It was taken out. It was called an coincidental finding or something like this, you know. So yeah, it's pretty crazy that that happened with you, but it kind of creates this thing. It's like an immortal type of feeling, like, you know, right? It's like immortalized. Yeah, so this guy, this author, Brandon Bouchard, I don't know if you know of him. He's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, he's amazing. He references something like this because he got into a car accident and then he lived, and he had this type of motivation that was like very much more than the usual. And he felt like, he titled it something along the words I just said, but very interesting, you know, very interesting. So continue with where you're going. So you had this go on. Yeah, the book. I want to check out that book. I'm sure you put like your soul into this thing, right?
Similar to your experience. I was fortunate. God looked out for me. The test came back negative.
Yeah.
So I went through that 10-day period where I was like, oh my gosh, this is what you're talking about. Like,
what's going to happen?
Yeah, I only have a certain amount of time. Like, what do I want to do with it? How am I going to maximize it? And so that kind of gave me the perspective, and I'm sure you have the similar one of like, make the most of each day. Like, you know, why not take the chance? But you know, do the research and do all that. But you know, nothing is not attainable. You know, I'd rather say why not than, you know, why. Like, why not? I can do that. Like, I can put that together.
100%.
And so that's kind of been similar to what I'm sure you have. Kind of my drive. You know, I look to have a positive impact on people.
That's it.
To help people and help them become, you know, successful in what they do.
That's amazing. Let me ask you about the book. Did you have a writer that helped you like finish it, or you really just sat there and just zoned in?
I sat there and zoned in. COVID hit, and I just zoned in and polished it and finished it, and you know, had editor and all that, and you know, for the audiobook, you know, had, you know, all the best for that. But
amazing.
Yeah, I wrote it. I didn't have a ghostwriter, and so I love to write. And you know, deep down, you know, I'm a writer. So.
Oh, I love that. Very.
So, but but that kind of book kind of put me on a global scale. So
yeah,
the numbers in terms of like having 7.5 million downloads plus is, you know, it's supposed to, for each download, it's supposed to be 10 times. So it'd be 1 million is 10 million downloads. If that's right. If my math is right. But so it works out to be about 750 million people it's supposed to reach, meaning that your name, the name of the book, they know something about. And so.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
So
is this before you started TommySwanHouse.com, like your platform?
Yeah. So that was, so I had already started TommySwanHouse.com. So,
okay.
Tommy Swanhaus & Co. is the name.
Yeah. So now moving from then till now, what has changed for you from then till now? Like Tommy today, what's the current day-to-day of Tommy now? And then what kind of like from there to now, like what happened? I'm sure a lot of things changed, right?
Yeah.
You know, the whole world's hearing you.
Yeah.
You know? So what happened?
So, so once I got put on a global scale, you know, companies started reaching out more towards me, and me not reaching out to them so much. Everything from a lot of kind of influencer marketing, some startups to bigger companies.
Okay. And you're following on your own account. How many followers do you have now?
About 1.4 million.
Awesome. I saw it was strong. That's amazing. So let me ask you today, right, to get right to it. So there's a lot of different things. You have so many different things going on. It's hard to kind of stay in a synchronized, you know, pattern with everything. There's a lot of unique things. Very, very cool. I love it. Today, what is your day-to-day right now?
So I've come, you know, I just turned 41. And
happy birthday. You look like you're 30, man.
I try to sit back from the camera, so you know.
Come on. No. You're good.
But so I celebrated my 40th birthday the last night that I was 40. I had a party in Connecticut. Okay. And I gave a toast, and I talked about, you know, looking back and what I've learned in my 40 years. And there's some people that are just starting out in the career there. And so I said there's 3 things that I've learned in my life, and if you could use these, I think you could, benefit immensely. And this is what I've learned from my personal experiences. And so, I talked about, when you start off and you're young, and I'm sure you have similar experiences, the best thing to do is just to be obsessed with your work. Everything from reading to putting in the time to learning from all the people around you.
Yeah, obsessed.
And so, yeah, obsessed. You're not going to get to be very successful by just going half in, especially when you're beginning out in your career. It's all about hard work. So later in your life, it's more about, the knowledge, your experience you can provide. It's less of that, the smaller hard work.
Yeah. It's more smart work, and you can be that effective, but here rather than going ham. Yeah.
Yep. And so my other thing is, my second point is to find a purpose in life. And so, I'm an inspirational, aspirational brand. And so I love to positively influence people. There's a lot of negativity out there, and people telling you can't do this, you can't do that. And I'm the opposite. I believe you can do anything you set your mind to. And it's just yourself that is the major thing that's holding you back.
100%.
And so, and I think this goes back to, having the scare with cancer, of this kind of mentality where, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Why can't it be me? And so that's kind of how I look at my projects. I look to have, it's got to fit my brand, which is an inspirational, aspirational brand.
Yeah. Yep. That's amazing. I hear you. You could do anything. And when you feel that you really can, and if it aligns, like you said, it has to align, let's go at it. Why not? I feel that. I like that.
So then my third point that I said was that, when you come to a certain level in your career, like, you got to give back. Like, you have to, you are where you are for a certain reason. People have given you breaks in, schools to whatever, have made you become who you are, your family. And so, when you're young, you give back time, but when you get older, you can give back financially, in terms of stock, to money, to all that.
Yep. And that's like very fulfilling, right?
Yeah. So my whole thing is, I live a purpose-driven life and lifestyle. And
I love it.
I get up every day. I'm thankful for being alive.
That's my next question. So it's amazing. I wanted to ask you, I said, to what you do today, what's the morning routine?
Yes. So I
get going and keep this type of energy, what's like that morning routine that keeps you just so on it, zoned?
So I'm a big believer in the power of prayer. So I pray every morning, which is like meditation almost.
Okay.
And that kind of gets me going. And then I try to exercise at lunchtime. And that is, like, for me, running. Like, I run half marathons. I like to lift.
Oh yeah.
But when I'm running, like, I do my best thinking, my creativity, I do my problem solving, because you have all this blood that's pumping through your brain. You're able to solve anything.
Oh, yep.
And so
it's like connecting. It's like electricity is going on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I feel that, bro. When I go on runs, I thought of this podcast on a run.
Yeah.
So funny you brought that up. Literally, I'm like, wait, I got to do a podcast. I need more time of me being out, like, direct one-to-one with an audience. I do Twitter Spaces too, where I host spaces on Twitter, but this on YouTube, it's crazy you said that. I mean, it's not crazy. It happens, right, to everybody. So yeah. So you run and you get your ideas and you just create. After that running session, you're like, you go back to the lab, right?
Exactly. And at that point, I'm super focused, and I just, what I'm able to get in 2 hours, done, would normally take, if I was in an office every day with people around me, it would probably take, 6 hours. So
crazy you said that.
And I work, it's very focused. I've already thought about it, so it's just more putting it out, and maximizing my time and my efficiency.
I love it.
But I'm a big believer in, if there's 3 things you're going to look back on life that you wish you did more of, exercise is one of them. You're doing good for your body. So,
of course, and your mind, right? You feel good, and you get your stomach gut right, which this is like your second brain. It's like your second brain, If you feel good here, you feel good here, vice versa. Yeah, 100%, 100%. So that's the morning routine: wake up, pray, exercise, and then you go into the office.
Yep. So I work from home, and I work with people. We're all, from all over the world, depending on
Yeah. Okay. Amazing.
Yeah. So
I love it.
I've been fortunate, you know, I love working at home. But with Zoom and, you can connect to.
You do everything. The world's so small today.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
And you have 1.5 million followers on Instagram. You have this platform. You're digital. It's not like you're very physical at all, right? Anyway, like, financially or structured in a sense in terms of business. So let me ask you, and if you said it, pardon me, but I'm trying to get clarity on it. What exactly do you do, like, in terms of financially today? Like, what is a transaction that you're engaging in? You're selling placements on your website. You're doing postings on your social media. There's a variety of different things, but in and around showcasing content to an audience, right?
Yeah. And so,
and then you're involved in the creative end. I know you referenced pretty much.
And so my big thing is influencer marketing right now. Influencer marketing in 2021 was about $13.8 billion industry.
Yeah.
This year it's going to be, I think, $16.4 billion.
So it's crazy. After this podcast, we have to have a call because that's what we focus on too. Very heavy in the influencer, like the Billionaires Club, the Trillionaire Life, wonderful places. They have like 20 million followers. We work and buy media from all of these channels. I own the magazine. I'm the CEO of the Billionaires Club. Ian, who didn't join us today, he's messaging me. I'm sure he had something. He's the founder of the Billionaires Club, but we buy media from the Billionaires from every single channel. And I'll show you, we curate these campaigns where you could be featured across like 30 or so channels for an amazing rate. And that's just one thing we do. So I'd love to connect with you on that point. It's very interesting. And I'd love to learn a bit more of what you do at the influencer marketing. But I want to ask you one or two questions as we're wrapping up. What would you say to someone that's seeing this? They go check out your site. They check out your Instagram. It looks like you're doing amazing. You are. You have this previous history with selling a show to TLC. You have all these things, and I'm sure there's a million more things that got you to this point. What would you say to a Tommy or a young man that's going to watch this? Because we have an entrepreneur audience. We definitely have that successful, of course, already there audience. But those that are aspiring, if you look back, what were some of the steps you took that maybe you could have took a better step? Or if there were any regrets or any things you look back that you would change a bit? Maybe not regrets. I don't like to have that because everything you learn from. But if you were to say to somebody, oh, you know what? This one time I should have did this like this, or I should have not been fearful of that, and it would have made this happen. Is there anything that comes to mind like this?
So if I was to give advice to an entrepreneur, it would just be to read and to do all your diligence. So it's not so risky. I feel like now when I start a new company or a project, or whatever, I've tried and tested everything. So if I'm going to say something, I know that I can actually do it, improve it, and execute on what I'm saying. And so there are a lot of people, and I love the ambition, but sometimes they don't perform. They say they can do whatever and they don't perform. And then, you're let down financially, you're let down in terms of marketing and all that. And so my whole belief is to, use your own, I use my own brand as kind of my testing ground. So that's kind of one of my things I'm a big believer in. And, your time to step into the spotlight is determined by you. There's a time and place to be an entrepreneur. There's a time and place to work for a company. And so you have to know what, is this the right time for me? Maybe if you have kids and, maybe it's not the best time to start a new company because, the financial risks, the time that you have to spend on it, to all that. So there's a time and place for everyone in terms of starting a company and growing it and all that. But my whole belief is, why not me? Why can't I achieve this? I look at myself as, Elon Musk likes to, roll one company into the next in terms of money. And I'm nowhere near his level, but I've done that my whole way. I've used, what I've made from one company to start the next company, and so on.
Yeah.
And so
I feel that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what are your goals? Lastly, like, what's the next step?
So my goals. So I would love to be part of the team that takes a company public.
Okay.
So that is one of my goals, and just to keep doing what I'm doing and amplifying it. And so I have another book I'm working on, and so I'm looking to be just a positive influence. And the projects that I get involved with, have to fit my inspirational, aspirational brand.
Yeah.
Very creative person. I feel that creativity is one of the major things that separates me and separates other people from the rest. We can all learn how to do a process, a formula, whatever, but creativity is the one thing that's going to differentiate yourself.
100%.
And so that's kind of been my whole belief from the get-go, and always being in the forefront in terms of mobile, whatever the latest is. Use your own self to be the testing ground, learn about it. So when it comes time to actually execute it, you can execute it. That would be my best advice. So
I love
anything
it.
is possible if you put your mind to it. The only thing limiting is yourself. So
yeah, I love it. I love it, man. It's such a pleasure to connect. I know we were on the DMs. I'm like, it looks cool what you're doing. I'd love to connect. Let's have you on the podcast, this and that. Very cool, man. Very interesting. You seem like a visionary. I'll tell you that, like you touched on. You definitely are that. And I wish you all the best with all your endeavors. Let's definitely connect. I'd love to talk about potential things. I see a lot of alignment and synergy and potential, to do something mutually fruitful. And keep up all the amazing stuff, man. I'm going to check out that book, and I look forward. When are you dropping your next book? I know you said you're working on it, right?
I hate to set it as
I know, no dates. Don't say a date. You're working on it. You're working on it. I love it. I love it.
But yeah. So no, it's great. Honored to be on the show.
Thank you.
Also,
100%. Stay in tune with us. We'll stay in tune with you, and let's see what we could do. Now that we both know we're in that media, field, let's definitely create some magic.
Awesome.
Let's see what we could do. All right. All love, Tommy. Appreciate you, and thank you for your time. And we'll be in touch, of course. All right.
All right.
Take care, Tommy. Take care. Thank you for watching this episode. We upload a new episode every Friday at 5 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. We as well greatly appreciate those that have subscribed to the channel. We appreciate the love and the support. Lastly, if you've missed last week's episode, tune into the episode right here.